everyone. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. The Mahogany ladies are back to do an official ranking after we've had a full year of Mahogany movies. So we will be ranking the 6 Mahogany movies that we have had so far last year to this year. We'll be starting at number 6 and counting down to number 1. So let me tell you who's here. Bree is here.
Hello, everybody.
And Jazzman's here.
Hello.
And Dory's here.
Hi, everyone.
And I should tell you, I'm Anne, so I'm here too. I forgot. I should probably tell you who I am. So you guys, was this hard to do your list, or what do you think?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it was too hard. I mean, luckily there's only 6, so that makes it easier. It's not like you're ranking 15 things. But yeah, there's only 6, and I feel like this year and last year is pretty different. So it's kind of like, okay, just kind of fill in, okay, what's the best, what's the not best, what's the middle, and then it's kind of done. So
yeah,
I
wish that it would have been harder. I wish it would have been harder.
I think that we wish it would have been harder, because that means that the quality was better and it would be harder for us to figure out which one goes in which spot. So
yeah, exactly.
That is definitely saying something in itself. So we're gonna start with number 6. So let's see, Jazzman, what's your number 6?
My number 6 is gonna be Spring Breakthrough. Is my number 6.
Ooh, okay.
This is going to be interesting to see how close the lists are. And what's your number 6, Bree?
My number 6 was Nashville Legacy.
Okay. And Dory, what was your number 6?
Mine was Spring Breakthrough.
Ooh. Okay. I feel like this whole episode is going to be us being like, ooh. Okay, and it comes down to you.
Our list before
we did not share our list with each other before this, so this is real reactions. My number 6 is Spring Breakthrough as well. So I guess that says something about Spring Breakthrough. But, yeah.
Eek.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to number 5. Number 5, what do you have, Jazzman?
I have Nashville Legacy.
I can't believe y'all. I cannot. Okay.
And Bree, what do you
Spring Breakthrough is number 5 for me.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Dory?
Mine is Surprising No One, a Nashville Legacy.
Oh my God.
All right, and mine is a Nashville Legacy.
Okay. At least between you 3, I feel like the lists are going to be the same. I know I'm now the oddball out.
I mean, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom of the list, so I mean, it makes sense.
These can happen.
I'm just saying, Hallmark, this might be, just might tell you that the more dramatic, possibly, the less people like the movie. So I'm just going to throw that out there since we're coming down to number 4 now. What do you have for number 4, Jazzman?
I have Napa Ever After as number 4.
Oh, okay. Bree?
In the number 4 spot, I have Napa Ever After.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, Dory, what about you?
Dun, 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 dun. I too have Napa Ever After.
Dang. Okay.
And
dun. Napa Ever After, my number 4.
Okay, so it is okay. We can all agree. Napa Ever After.
I think my next one is going to be different than everyone else's. Because I kind of do a ranking. It's kind of like, maybe it's not the right way to do a ranking. it's kind of like when I do a ranking, I think if I had these 6 movies in front of me, which order would I want to watch them in? Which one do I want to watch first? Which
Okay.
one do I want?
Okay.
So I think it's more like rewatchability, which is kind of
Gotcha.
different than the actual
Ooh.
best, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Sometimes.
That makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I
so-
see my list. Okay.
So mine, that's just how, I don't know why. That's just how I view doing a ranking list, is rewatchability. So that can be different for that just might make mine different. So we're gonna see for the next one. So number 3, Jazzman.
Number 3, To Her with Love.
Okay, that's
Okay.
what I thought. So I think mine's gonna be different. Okay, Bree, what's next for you? Number 3.
In the number 3 spot, I have To Her with Love.
And Dory, what about you?
Well, get ready, ladies. My number 3 is also To Her with Love.
Oh,
And here
man.
comes Anne's. What is
And
it,
here
Anne?
comes mine's different. Mine is The Holiday Stocking, and that is just for the reason that I said. You know, it's a more
Rewatchability.
sad movie. It's more sad
Yeah.
movie, so I would be less likely to rewatch it. But that's just, I don't know why. That's just how I do these lists. So, but I think the quality of the movie is better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's a very quality made movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to the next 2, which I think is going to be
Oh
opposite.
God.
The first 2, top 2. So number 2, Jazzman, what do you have?
Oh gosh, this has been hard. This is hard.
The
Why
top
can't I
2,
just
I'd say,
share?
were
Why
the
can't I
toughest.
share the medal. Oh gosh.
These were hard. The top 2 were hard.
Okay, so number 2, The Holiday Stocking.
Okay.
Okay. Bree, what about you? Number 2.
In number 2, I put Don't Come For Me, y'all.
Not the throat clearing.
Don't come for me, but
Whoa.
I went with okay. So for the top 2, I think I kind of adopted your mentality, and it's like, which one would I would watch both of these in a heartbeat, but like one over the other. I actually put Unthinkably Good Things in spot 2.
That makes sense. I mean, a lot of
Ooh.
Christmas is very. I mean, you know, Christmas is definitely a mood in itself. So
Yeah,
I can see that for sure. What about you, Dory? Number 2.
Number 2 for me was The Holiday Stocking.
Okay.
And my number 2 is To Her with Love. And okay, we're getting down to the number 1 spot here. This is very exciting. What do you have number 1, Jazzman?
I have Unthinkably Good Things.
Very on brand for you, Jazzy. Very on brand.
I'm just saying. They represent me.
Bree, what about you? Number 1.
Well, you know, I feel like I've sung the praise of this movie since we watched it. But number 1 is The Holiday Stocking for me.
Oh, I love that.
Right?
I love that
RJ
movie.
fine.
Yeah, make sure you can record it and watch it again this
Yes.
season. And if anybody missed it last season, make sure we record it this season to watch. And what is your number 1, Dory?
My number 1 is the movie that started it all, Unthinkably Good Things.
The movie that started it all.
Original.
The
Dory
movie
has
that
to,
brought
like,
us
she
all
does the build-up.
together.
I know, we assembled because of this movie.
You know, it is the one that Anne and I watched this together.
Yeah,
like,
that's true. That was fun. Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I
like I
remember.
have a lot of sentimental, in addition to it being a good movie, I have a lot, I think, of like sentimental attachment to it.
Yeah.
And my number 1 is Unthinkably Good Things. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a good movie.
It's
That
a
was a
very
good
good
movie.
movie. Yeah, it had romance, you know,
Girl.
a little bit of drama, but like fun, adventure. I mean, it's beautiful. It's just it's just a good, well-rounded movie. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think hands down that's like one of the best Hallmarks done.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I think so
period.
too.
Yeah.
I I mean, you can tell they spent money. They got great actors. They were in a beautiful place. They spent money on the promotion, spent money making the movie, and that goes a long way.
And
You
it
know,
was
Sure
never
does.
slow. Like, it was such a fast-paced movie. Like, there was just
Yeah.
not like a dull moment, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true. Especially because they had three ladies. It was just moving,
Yeah.
moving the whole time.
Yeah.
It was
So
also promoted properly, lest we
yeah,
forget.
Lest we
yes,
forget.
they definitely
know?
had the
Mhm.
promotion budget for sure.
Sure.
They
And it
really
deserved
threw
it.
their
I'm so
weight
glad they did.
behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they put their weight behind it because they knew like they had made something good, and they were eager and ready, excited to promote it and share it with people.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho! We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
All right, I do want to take a minute to talk to just read the synopsis and date for the new Mahogany movie. So we have a Mahogany Christmas movie this season, and it is called Christmas with a Kiss, and it's airing Sunday, December 3rd. That will be on Hallmark Channel regular, and it's starring Michelle Morgan, Ronnie Rowe Jr., and Jamie M. Calica. And the description is a woman, Morgan, returns home to help with her family's Christmas carnival, and romance ignites. A photojournalist, Rowe, curates a surprise reunion. So, unfortunately, they're not giving us too much to go off of. It's kind of very vague, which usually
It's just silence.
Yeah,
After Anne read it, we're all like, okay.
I mean, you can't really say too much which usually the December movies have the most vague descriptions because they're farther away.
Yeah,
But
and we've also all been in this game long enough to know that a lot of times the synopsis does not match the movie. Like you watch the movie and you're like, wait, this was not what I was expecting in the least.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. So do you think, does this mean that Jamie Calica is the love interest and
Oh my
Ronnie's
gosh.
the photojournalist?
I did
I'm
not
confused
ask
why
me
there's
this
two guys. It's kind
question.
of interesting.
I did not ask
don't
him
know.
this. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah,
Jamie?
Jazz, that's your friend. You didn't ask him?
I did not ask, girl. Okay, so this is what happened. What happened was, I do the tagging on IG. He, we chat back and forth, and he was like, yeah, make sure you promote this movie, but also I got another movie on that's coming up for the holiday as well. I'm like, I got you, because we were asking where you been. We was looking for you, Jamie, and you just popping up. So I don't know if he's going. Is it going to be a love triangle? I do not know. Are you the cousin, the brother?
I'm not sure.
But all I know is we got two fine men in this Mahogany movie. Let's talk about.
And that's exciting.
Come on.
We always want to have pretty people when
Yes,
we're
to
watching
look
these
at.
movies. I don't know. I'm not familiar, at least that I know of, with Michelle. At least just on first glance, I'm looking at her picture. But yeah, Ronnie and Jamie are both great, so I'm really glad that they'll be in this movie. So make sure you tune in. Christmas with a Kiss, Sunday, December 3rd on Hallmark Channel.
Actually,
And when it comes around, we'll do a recap of the movie after it airs. So.
I have more update on Michelle Morgan. I'm like, I knew she looked familiar. Girl, she played on one of my favorite soap operas, Young and the Restless. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. She plays Amber. No, she plays Amanda Sinclair. Yes. And also, she was in Chicago MD. She actually was in Hometown Holiday. Maybe we should check that out. Maybe she's the background. Yes. Yeah, she played Amber in Hometown Holiday. It came out in 2018. She was in Supernatural for one episode. It was You Got Served, Beat the World. Okay, then I'm not making up too many movies.
I didn't even know there was more of those. That's crazy.
In, Double Wedding with Tia and Tamara Mori's movie. She actually was a law firm receptionist.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay, so
There's some connections here. Some connections here.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to seeing, what if it's like this description, or who's the love interest, or who's a family member, or who's the surprise reunion that's igniting here, or curated by Ronnie. So it'll be interesting. And we do want to say that have some words to say about this 2023 Hallmark Christmas lineup. Outside of the Mahogany presentation movie, which is what I guess it says, a Mahogany presentation. Outside of the Mahogany movie, there is only one other, black. Well, you can't even really say it's black led, because it's like an ensemble cast, which has, I think, two or three black leads, but there's 5 leads in the movie. So other than this one, there's only one other with more than one black lead. So does anyone want to say anything about that?
So sad, so disappointed, but at the same time, I don't even know if I can be disappointed. It's kind of expected at this point. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that when we first assembled to cover the Mahogany movies, Dory shared with us, and she said it on the podcast, like, is this going to become their excuse to not do other black movies? And I feel like she was 1,000% spot on, because where are they?
Right.
Somebody prove me wrong. I'm waiting. Like, let me know. So yeah, it's disappointing.
It is. It's really disappointing. When I was looking through the list, I just kept going down, just waiting to see. I mean, there was very little black people, but there was very little other people of color too.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just black people. There was very little Asian representation, Hispanic representation. There was not very, very much of people of color overall. But usually I feel like, or at least usually, I should not say usually. In the last 3 years, there's been, I would say, usually 4 movies with black leads. So, I think we should either stay the same or increase, not decrease. So,
and I mean, I think it's safe to say that we would cheer on any diversity and any inclusion we see. I mean, as for black women, of course, we would love to see more black women or black men in leads. But I think we're speaking diversity all the way around. I would love to see more, Latinx actors, more Asian actor, love interests, more one of my favorite, and I was thinking a lot, Anne, when you said rewatchability, and I had messaged you all a couple of weekends ago, because there's a couple of Lifetime movies that I cannot stop thinking about, and that very rarely happens with a lot of made for TV movies, just because there's always something new coming on, but I've been thinking about a couple of movies, and I'm like, man, I would love to rewatch this, but I want to see. I want to see it all the way around. But one of the movies that I really wanted to rewatch, the heroine is a real life actress in a wheelchair. I forgot. I always blank on the title
Ally
of
Stoker.
that Lifetime movie. Yes. It's Holiday Ever After or something. My goodness, that movie is so good. It's so good. And it's literally an actress in a wheelchair. Okay. Own voices. That's her in real life. You're not getting one of your big Hallmark actresses to pretend they're in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? Right. And it's just I mean, taking even all of that out of it, it's still just such a good movie, So I want to see more, but I don't know. I don't at this point, I don't know. I don't know what Hallmark is up to. What do y'all think?
I also think it's really disappointing that this is coming on the heels of like a year that lacked diversity in storytelling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's doubly disappointing, right?
I was kind
Because
of hoping that, that they'd like surprise us.
right, like, and I also feel like we've had conversations before, the four of us, about how, oh, we're not happy about it, but, Hallmark is probably waiting for the holidays to kind of show
Mm-hmm.
us something different, show us something special, show us the diversity. And we were annoyed about that. So then to come to the holidays and see very little was just like
It was
a
like a gut
gut
punch.
punch.
Yeah,
A
it
slap
Yeah.
really
in your
was.
face. Yeah.
Well, exactly,
Yeah.
because Dory is always spot on. So that's exactly, I think, what it was. Is like, okay, we always know the rest of the year it's not that many diverse movies, but it's like when we come to the holidays, it's like usually that's the most, that slate, that group is the most diverse of the whole year,
Yep.
and so it's like, I think, I don't think other people like really think about it. But when you're a person of color, you think about these things because that is your existence. And so your expectation and want is, okay, usually this time there's more, of people of color and, people like us in these movies. And then it was like, what happened?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is not, what we, wanted, desired, thought was going to be, given to us. And it was, I put it in the chat. I was like, I'm underwhelmed. I feel disappointed by this slate.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just, I just couldn't believe how, how overwhelmingly white it was.
And I mean, who at Hallmark, when you sit back and you start putting this list out, do you, as the people in charge, does the conversation, because we know there are Black women behind the scenes at Hallmark, but like, is anybody sitting at that round table, does it ever cross their minds like, hey, not a lot of diversity in this lineup? And is it just like, oh well, like I don't. So here's my theory.
Okay, tell us a
And
theory.
y'all, like I told the girls before we started that I have a theory. Here it is. And listeners, don't come for me, okay? This is just my theory. I feel like, and I've been thinking about this all week, like I shared with y'all before I hit record. I feel like in the world of Hallmark, they are going to have to kind of like spoon feed their audience to get used to diversity. You're going to have to, like, okay, like Ronnie, the handsome Ronnie, he's going to have to like be the love interest in a movie with like a Lacey or an Ashley Williams, right? Like people are going to, I feel like, to get their white audience that doesn't really want to buy into or support Mahogany, they're going to have to start seeing our beautiful actors across from people
With
they
their
already
favorites.
love, with their
Yeah.
favorite.
Yep.
Yes,
Agreed.
I've been thinking about that a lot, and I'm like, that's not fair. I don't think that it's right. But I feel
Yeah.
like at this point, what is the other option? The audience has to get used to seeing these faces, and they have to start getting used to seeing them as desirable. Like when you look at this lineup, I interpret it as, oh, our Black actors aren't desirable. Latina actors aren't desirable. Like a person in a wheelchair or somebody that has like ADHD, that's not desirable. Like this straight-laced set of actors who we've seen time and time again. Like this is the ideal love interest. This is a desirable love interest. Like to me, it's just like when you don't see it, like Dory has said plenty of times, that is a choice.
Yep.
And what are you saying to me? It's like, oh, that's not a desirable desirable love interest or a desirable relationship. And that's my theory. What do y'all think? Am I totally off? Is there
No,
another option?
I
No,
think
you're
you're
not.
right. I think you're totally right, Bree, because I think when, there's a group of people out there, I don't know what percentage group that people that is, but I think there's a group of people, when they see two leads of color, they just mentally think, I'm not tuning into this.
I
Right,
can't
they check
relate to
out.
that. I
They
can't
check
relate
Yeah,
to
out.
that.
I can't
Yeah.
relate to it. I check out. I don't have a desire to watch it. Whatever their thing is in their mind, that might even be subconscious. Maybe they're not physically, well, they're not, because they're not physically saying, I'm not watching this movie because it has two people of color. They're just thinking I'm not interested and just going on. But I think, like you said, yeah, if they put, the way that group is going to tune in is if you put, Tyler Hines in a movie, with,
Right.
a black woman,
Tamara, him and
and
Tamara.
then, him and Tamara, or, just him and, somebody, then they're like, oh, I want to watch Tyler, so I'm going to watch the movie, and then they're like, oh, well, now I'm familiar with, X
So and so,
actress.
yeah. Yeah.
And so, oh, she's going to be in a movie, then it might increase that they might want to watch it, and so I think for that group, however big that group is, for that group, that is the one way to get them to watch, is to have one lead, one white lead that's their favorite, and one lead of color that's new to them, that they can, come around to like, or whatever, enjoy, and then they'll be open to seeing at least that person again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you said, it's not right, fair, or whatever, but yeah, I think you have a good point.
Yeah, I totally agree, Bree. I couldn't agree more. Because I also think the thing is, like, a lot of people are unwilling or uninterested in kind of investigating why they shut down when they see like two leads of color in a movie. And because I think people just a lot of times don't even do it consciously, they
Yeah.
just are like, like they just shut down to it and won't even give it a chance. And it's not even like a conscious decision. And I do wish that people would kind of interrogate that in themselves a little bit more and be like, okay,
Mhm.
why do I tune out whenever there's a movie with two black leads?
Yeah.
Why do I not think it's for me? Or why do I avoid it? Or why do I make an excuse for this or that for not tuning in? But that's work that I think a lot of people
It's
just won't do.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think for a variety of reasons, like that's work that people are not going to do. So I think that you're right, Bree. You kind of have to like sneak it in there. And I think about, there was this movie. Do you guys remember? It was called Jingle Bell Bride, and it might have been Ronnie
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
You remember that one?
Yes.
Love that movie. Love it.
It might have been Ronnie Rose's first
I think
Hallmark
it was.
movie,
I think
his
it was
first
his first
lead
Hallmark
role.
movie.
Mm-hmm.
And Julie Gonzalo was in it, and she's a
Yes.
Hallmark fave.
Yeah.
And I loved that movie. I think it was like the first movie of the year, whatever year it premiered.
It
maybe
was.
2019 or
Yeah.
2018. And I loved that movie. I loved that pairing. And I remember thinking when I watched it, like, this is the direction Hallmark should be going in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Have like one of your sweethearts, one of like the Hallmark faves, with not only like a black actor, but like a new face, because a lot of this too is we are seeing the same faces.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, let's introduce someone new to the mix. And this was your traditional Hallmark movie, top to bottom.
Yeah.
Top
There
to
was
bottom.
nothing crazy in it. Like, it was just your standard romance.
No bells and
And
whistles.
I thought it was so cute, so sweet, loved them together. And I remember thinking at the time, I wish they would do this more. So I do feel like they tried to lean into it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but then lost their way, lost their footing. I don't know what happened, but I remember watching that and thinking, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
We're getting somewhere.
We have one of like the mainstream Hallmark faves in a movie with a black man. Like, let's do this. Like, let's keep going. Let's move forward. And I mean, I think that that's what's disappointing, is that, and this is what I've been struggling with all year long. I feel like for the past 2 years, I could feel momentum. I could feel change. Like, I felt some change coming. I felt like every year it's getting a little bit better. Every year it's getting a little bit better. To me, this year, the momentum stopped. And
there wasn't even momentum. Okay.
exactly.
It feels stagnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just stopped cold. And that is so upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Like, even think about Unthinkably Good Things at the end of last year, this time last year. Like, there was some momentum. Like, we were feeling like, oh my gosh, Mahogany, like, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
We had such high hopes.
Mm-hmm.
And now, a year later, I mean, the momentum has stopped, and it just feels, I feel completely deflated, if I'm being honest about this, because it's like every new announcement of movies, I would hold out some hope. Every new season, I would hold out some hope. And then here was like their last chance, right? Like the holiday season, the biggest season of the year. This was their last chance to show us, hey, we haven't forgotten about you. We're listening. Diversity is still important to us. And they failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to be in, their planning room, because it's like, okay, we have 40 movies. 40 movies.
Bro.
Like can you
4-0.
Look, we'll let you have
designate
30 of them.
Exactly. Can
10 of them be
10
some
movies?
brown people? Just 10. We'll just take 10.
No.
Yes.
Jesus, guys.
Yeah, like just 10 movies where, we have, leads of color. Like, I'm just like, that's not a lot to ask. Like, because there's 40 movies, there can be there can be movies for all these different, groups of people, and for, everyone to watch, so everyone can expand their brains, so
here's my question. This is what I would like to know, if any actor or actress ever listens, or somebody in the important chair at Hallmark. Like, okay, so I recorded earlier for my podcast with author Jennifer Snow, and she has 8 made-for-TV movies coming out this year, and one of them is coming out on BET Plus.
Yes.
And it has Vivica Fox in it.
Ooh.
It sounds like it's like I don't want to say suspense, but she says it's very action heavy. Love Jennifer. Very excited for that. But I wonder, are the scripts written and they already have actors in mind? Are actors like auditioning for these, especially like our Hallmark faves? Like, I guess here's my questions. Like, do you already know that you want Tyler, like you wrote this script with Tyler Hines in mind? Or is somebody calling Tyler, like, got a script that we think that you'd like? Like, could that call have been to a Ronnie or to an Anthony like, could it have went to somebody else? Like, I guess that's my question, is like, how do you get to this point where the viewers are looking at a lineup and there's no brown people? Are brown people not auditioning? I don't really want to believe that they aren't. Are they being told this is, a script with 2 white characters? So what? We know Zendaya only goes out for parts for white actresses. So what? If the person can act, why not give it to them? Like, how do we get here? How do we get here?
I do really wonder how they do it. It seems crazy because it just depends. It's like sometimes I think they have somebody in mind. Like, once they get a script, they have somebody in mind for a long time. But then sometimes, we talk to the actors, and then Rachel will be like, oh, well, when did you get the script, or when did they call you, or when did, you sign on for the project? They're like, oh, I only had 4 weeks notice. They called me 4 weeks ago. I had to be on set in 4 weeks. Or sometimes, I don't know if it's COVID thing, or if it was, they'd be like, oh, I had only 2 weeks notice, and then I had to go to Canada, to shoot this. And so it's like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes they might know for a while after they get a script, oh, we want this person. But sometimes it feels like it's a shorter window based on who's like available in, X many weeks. But yeah, who gets the first calls, who, declines, who, I would just love to know. It would be so interesting. How do you decide who to call? Like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that, us being for, Black women on a podcast isn't going to change anything. I think that like the bigger audience has to start saying like, hey, a lot of these movies have the same faces over and over
Right.
again. Can we get some new
You're right.
people? But like, are they going to do that? No,
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
I think, like you said, the only way they can do it is pair somebody they like with some new person and then
Yep.
just keep trying to do that. And then eventually they'll become, these people will become people they like too. And then, and then it switches around. But this takes years and it's just tiring thinking about it.
I think you're so right, Bree, because, we started, my co-hosts Mel and Erica on All the Feels, we started our podcast in 2016. And this has been a drum that we have been banging since the start of our podcast. And so we're looking at 7 years at this point. And
Jeez.
for a long time, we were one of like the few voices who were saying anything. And there are times when I feel like, am I screaming into the void? Like, does anyone else care besides us,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's hard when you're the loudest voices, but you're in the smallest segment of like the Hallmark viewership,
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah.
true.
Like,
Very
we
true.
need the majority of Hallmark viewers, like that demo, to be as loud as we are.
From the newest sensation in contemporary romance comes a delightfully heartwarming holiday story that's perfect for fans of Rayanne Thane, Denise Hunter, and Debbie Maycomber. Art buyer Charlotte Moore is given the chance of a lifetime to be head buyer for the esteemed Wallace Gallery's Christmas Charity Gala. But when she arrives at the auction, after the most prominent pieces are all bought up, in a panic, she bids on the final painting, an unsigned landscape she's nearly sure her boss will despise. To save her job, she finds herself in the beautifully festive New England coastal town of Seabreeze, the setting of the painting. When a nor'easter blows through, she's stuck at the adorable Cove Hill Inn, all decorated for the holiday and brimming with Christmas magic. Get your copy of The Christmas Promise by Lindsay Gibson today, wherever you shop for your holiday reads. That's The Christmas Promise by Lindsay Gibson.
Perspective is listening to our conversation about, what's going on with Hallmark, about our leads, especially Black, Asian, Hispanic, etc. Like, even me going through the list this year, I can tell that they're still trying to coin the, Western movie, experience to their core white audience. And that's okay, but also remember that now a lot of us minorities are coming into this space of Hallmark. And we want to have that same feel too. We weren't, mad because we have classic movies that are with white actors and white actresses, but we also want to see ourselves on the movies. And I can tell, just even look at the script, there's 2.5 Black movies for Hallmark this year. I said what I said, 2.5. We have to count the mix, just saying. And then looking at either people who are either half Asian or they're white Latino, white Tina, and they got at least maybe 1 or 2 movies. So that is the less than 10 movies out of the 40, 42 movies we have this year. And I'm not saying, I know you're trying to stick with your white core audience because you're fighting with the other networks, but also know that they need to understand that it's okay to accept diversity, but it's up to them as the audience because they're so stuck, people are stuck in their ways. Yes, we can't change them, but also just, we may have to go back to pairing, our with our counterparts again and make the movies as we go, but also say, hey, we can have standalone movies. We can, and I've seen it through over the years, but definitely this year is their lowest of representation
since they started.
Since they started, because mind you, even with Black movies from the beginning back in 2018. That's 2018. You gotta think about this if you're listening. Like 2018, that's not that far away.
5 years ago. 5.
Okay, we had 4 Black movies, and they were very successful, by the way. So we can do this. It's about having, support, also knowing that other white counterparts should be encouraging their watchers, their fan base, like, no, y'all should watch this movie. This movie's amazing. Like, we seen it at I think we good thing. We saw the when they did their promo and everything. They had the red carpet premiere. There were other actresses and actors there. Andrew was there. Reese was there. They were there to support. So what is so hard about the fandoms in Hallmarkies? Like, why can't we not support other actors and actresses? Give the movie a try before you just dissing it. That's just me.
So I found this article. It says it's from because I was like, what? It says it's from September 30th, 2023. The Stylist. I don't know. It's the stylist.org. And it says, dashing through diversity, is Hallmark doing enough? So, okay, this is actually from December 26, 2022. So thinking about it, that's the very end of the holiday movies from last year. So it said, okay, like Grandma's renowned peanut butter cookie recipe, why change it when it tastes so good? But what if through the years Uncle Ted develops a nut allergy? Cousin Julie now prefers gingerbread over peanut butter. Oh, and brother-in-law Rick is gluten-free. Does the recipe change to accommodate the family, or will Grandma plunge forward into the holidays, savoring tradition while excluding more and more members of the family? The same is true for the Hallmark Channel, which has been notorious for painting a delusionary world that departs from diverse experiences and demographics. Hallmark's holiday movies overwhelmingly feature white, heterosexual, able-bodied, and upper-middle-class characters. However, in recent years, Hallmark has been scrutinized for its lack of diverse stories and is trying to make up for the deficit. A spokeswoman for Hallmark says, "We want all viewers to see themselves in our programming, and everyone is welcome." Okay, remember, this is the end of the holiday season last year, and we are at the beginning of the holiday season for this year, and I don't see it. This year, I think they were talking about last year's, I'm not sure, but it said this year, Hallmark will premiere 31 new holiday films. Out of these films, 6 feature ethnic and racial minority leads. 1 depicts a Jewish storyline, and 1 stars a leading LGBTQ plus couple. That is a grand total of 8 films that stray from the typical storyline that is sold. So 8 out of 31, my friends. 8 out of 31.
That's right, Nico.
Yeah, it's like, can we get like 10 to 12? I mean, I feel like we're not asking for that much, especially when you're talking about 40. You know, and that was probably that. Maybe they didn't include Hallmark Movies and Mysteries in the 31 because it probably was closer to 40. But I just, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I feel like I'm banging a drum and just, you know, crazily, and that it's going into the void.
I just think it's truly wild to like, and I mean, this isn't just Hallmark, right? We've seen this with so many companies in general. In 2020, people trotted out their like messages, their statement saying, "We honor diversity. It's important to us. We're going to change. We're going to work harder." And since then, it's been crickets from a lot of people and places, not just Hallmark. And I mean, I think that for me, and I think for all of us, that's been a tough pill to swallow. It's like, yeah, y'all were important when you were in the news, but 3 years later, get over it, you know?
We're now losing our motivation, and we're we just band-aided over it, and now we're just reverting back, and that's really hard to accept.
Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by W Rated, the podcast where we willingly watch the world's worst rated movies. Join me, Daisy,
and me, Claire, as we break down the IMDb Bottom 100, choosing a different film from the list every episode.
We take a deep dive into the plot, production, release, and reviews, usually with a special guest, to uncover if these films are truly as bad as everyone says they are.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, and anywhere else you find your podcasts.
Every time we do a Mahogany movie, it ends up being us being like, they could have done so much better. Come on, Hallmark.
I know. know. And we all feel bad about it every time.
We don't
No.
want to be
I know.
disappointed.
We
We
don't
want to
wanna
be
be
No.
disappointed.
we want to be happy, excited, you know, glad, but it's hard not to be disappointed. It's
Yeah.
really hard.
Yeah. And I
I
mean,
was-
I think that, go ahead, Dory, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I was laughing. I was listening to our last episode back when it came out, and we were going around talking about the movie, and Bree got to me and she was like, Dory, dare I ask? And I was just
I know you're about to go in.
I know. I was like, this just encapsulates the whole thing. She's like, dare I ask? I was like, oh man, here we
This is
go.
our sister, ladies and
Here's my
gentlemen.
thing.
This is what we
This
do.
kind of goes back to my theory. So our white listener friends out there, I need you to scream as loud when you
Yep.
have like a diverse hero or heroine as you would your Tyler Hines, your Andrew Walkers. Okay. And some of them, you know, are people that we are close with, but I see you too on the Twitter. Okay. Look at who you are screaming for. And if it
Yep.
is not diversity, like we've kind of alluded to in this conversation, like Dory alluded to, and said it was hard, you might need to ask yourself why you're not screaming for this person.
Right.
Or why, if you haven't posted a tweet that you've noticed there's a lack in diversity, I'm asking if you have actually noticed it. Do you not care? Like, these are all things that, because here's the thing, we have always had to watch the characters that look like you. Always. And even some of us as people of color have to check ourselves sometimes of like, why am I not clicking on the Black movie? Well, for some of us for so long, like all we've watched is characters that look like you. So even we have to check ourselves and have those uncomfortable conversations. But like, you know, when you see these like Hallmark hunk posts on the Twitter and it'll have like 6 actors and they're all white and everybody comments and says their favorite, and I'm like the solo that's like, would have loved to see Antonio on there or
Right.
Ronnie. I need you guys to check yourselves too and ask yourselves why you're not calling out the fact that all of these actors are white. The Hallmark hunks don't just stop there. Okay. They don't just stop there. You'll see all these favorite posts and it's, oh, you're Erin Krakau's and she's got a whole fandom. It's so weird. People literally just post pictures of her. And I'm like, come on, my friends. Like, there's so many other people. If you take a step back and realize that you've never, your posts are pretty Erin Krakow-ish and all of the other people that you post look like her, I need you to ask yourself why. I need you to ask yourself why. And if it feels like there's shade, it is, because I'm throwing shade.
Bree's taking everybody to church today.
I was just about to say, Bree is preaching this morning.
I don't want us to feel like we have to rely on other people to get us somewhere, but it's like,
basically,
what do we do at this point? Like, basically we do.
I mean, the percentage of people of color in America is less than the percentage of white people. So we literally have to rely on white people, like literally.
Yep.
You know what? To bounce back off of Bree, like even last year when they had the layout of like all like the leading men from last year, you're looking at the photo. There was only one person of color.
Only Brooks. Yeah,
I
still remember.
And he is gorgeous. He is so gorgeous.
Fine.
I loved seeing him on that magazine cover with like Andrew and whoever else was there. But that's what I'm saying. If you need to take a step back and look at who you are rooting and cheering for all the time. And if there's no diversity, you're part of the problem. You are part of the reason why we have to sit here and like gripe and complain every time we sit down and record something that we want to be joyful. But you're part of the problem. You're part of the reason why we sit here and have to scream like yet another movie where, you know, another holiday listing where there's one Black movie. You are part of the problem.
Right. And we watch our movies all year round. Mind you.
We
sit there
all year.
We have to record them or you know, our reviews on it. We actually do watch the movies during the year because it's holiday time. Give them that same respect.
I think about this a lot in terms of like the romance community, like romance novels, because it's kind of a similar thing where you have to really actively seek out authors and stories that are different from yourself. And
Yes.
you can't be passive about it, because there's so much opportunity. If you are white, there's so much opportunity for you to just read books that center you. That is what is being marketed. That is what is most popular on social media. So you can be passive and just get all these book racks and just stay in your bubble, right? And keep reading these same stories. You have to make active choices to follow authors of color online, to subscribe to their newsletters, to buy their books with your money, to go to the store and buy their books with your money, to comment on their social media, to amplify their messages, to share their stories. It has to be active.
Yes.
And that is what gets more of these stories made. And it is the same with Hallmark.
Yes.
You can be a passive watcher of these movies and just watch what they serve up to you. But if you really care about diversity and you really want to help the cause, and you in your heart know that Hallmark could and should be doing better, you have to be a little bit more active with this process. You have to, like Anne said, like Bree has been saying, like all of us are saying, like we need your support, and you need to amplify the movies with leads of color. You need to ask Hallmark, who wrote this? Was it a person of color? Who's the director of this? Is it a person of color? How many movies this year have been written, directed, or acted in by people of color? Like you have to be a little bit more active. And the thing is, we see y'all being active about a lot of things. Okay?
A lot.
So
Very passionate.
very passionate about a lot of different things.
Very shady episode.
Like we follow you and you follow us and we see what you post. And
Lord,
if diversity really matters to you, it would be nice to see some of those posts dedicated to pushing Hallmark a little bit on their diversity, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
like
saying.
it's just like, I mean, like when you see a Instagram post, you know, of a movie, you know, with somebody of color, you know, just be like, oh, I'm so glad, you know, to see Heather in another movie. I can't wait to watch this. Or, you know, oh, so glad, you know, we have, you know, a movie with, you know, 2 Black leads, you know, in this season. Or, you know, try to like make active comments, make posts to support it. You know, just show some support, you know, when they actually do have diversity. Show support by tuning in, by leaving comments, you know, leaving, you know, reviews in the checklist app, you know, saying, you know, you're glad to see so-and-so, or, you know, whatever it is, something supportive, because, you know, those things add up and they do monitor and watch, you know, this stuff. And so, you know, that could help, you know?
And a lot of it too is to counteract. Like, I know we all see the comments on social media, the hate comments, the negative comments, the racist comments,
positive comments in counteract all that. Yeah.
Right. Like even just leaving a positive comment and liking positive comments on social media to kind of have that positive message outweigh the hate is so necessary. Like I get so disheartened on social media looking at some of these posts with people. It's like every time there is a face that it has any melanin in it, people are like, yeah, not seeing it. Yeah, I bet the chemistry isn't going to be good. Not for me, not interested. And that is heartbreaking. It's like you know nothing about this movie. And purely based on this one promo image with someone who doesn't look like you, you're like, yeah, skip, pass, not gonna watch it, not interested. Like that is heartbreaking as a person of color.
Really is. Like if I just sat and read that like all day, I would like be in tears. I mean, because even when I see it, it bothers me so, like it hurts. Literally I can feel my heart just like it hurts so much, especially, when, for me, because, I'm in an interracial family, and the people, and they specifically also make those comments on top of all the other comments. It really, really could just bring me to tears if I just sat there and just really just thought about it and read all those comments, because it's just really sad to think we just live in a world surrounded by people who just, have so much hate. It
and
really
it's sad.
bothers me.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's like, yes, we are a fandom. We are a Hallmarkies fandom. At the same time, by these messages that we are seeing, especially a small group of us, of people who are in this minority, like, we see them, and you're coming at as like, we're not going to support this because of someone's elite of colors. Like, you're just saying that you don't want us in this fandom, but we're going to stay in this fandom. We're going to say that we deserve to stay in this fandom because not only will y'all be leaving out of the fandom pretty soon as we get older, but at the same time, it's like, we have a spot here too. We love movies. We love rom-coms. We love holiday movies. We want to have, now, like, we didn't have to tell them we want to sit at the table. Should we drag the table to a stand? Because we're going to sit here.
Right, yeah.
We're tired of the negative comments. We're tired of you talking about you're not going to support us while we've been supporting you from day one with all the movies that does not look like us because we relate to the content and the characters, what they go through. And we put ourselves in those shows. We do it any type of book, any type of movies, TV shows that we watch. We put ourselves in these characters. We understand the characters from what their content is, what they're about. Yeah, we see the color though, but we're putting ourselves in there. But now the fact that we're seeing each other on TV and seeing what we look like, but then you're mad because we don't want to support that. You need to check yourself and wondering how'd you even got here to the point of Hollywood and everything in between. Because at the end of the day, we've been the back burners for a long time doing the setting, the secondary characters of these shows for you guys. Now it's time for us to step foot into our leads and making sure it's okay and having the correct language of support. You may not support it. You could be like, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna watch it this week though, but congratulations on this movie. Do something positive. Stop being negative out there, Hallmarkies.
Yeah, I don't pay the negative stuff. I really don't look anymore, but there's always going to be negative people. There's always going to be the people that just want to be hateful because they don't know no better, and those that just want to put it out there that, like, whatever, I'm not watching this, I'm not supporting this, whatever. They're always going to be there. I say just pay them no mind. Like, they obviously, like, I've been learning as a new teacher, like, the kids that act out, when you do acknowledge them, you're giving them exactly what they want.
Oh,
so
you just feed them. Yeah.
You just feed them. So I'm like, I don't pay them no mind. I think that who we're speaking to is the good-hearted people that, just like we've been saying, have to check themselves and ask themselves, like, why am I not watching this? Why don't I talk about these actors and these movies as much as I talk about XYZ? And that's even in the podcasting world. I mean, I don't know. Just saying, like, come on now. So take a look at who you're screaming for and who you're cheering on. And if there's no diversity in that, ask yourself, am I part of the problem? But yeah, I don't know. There's always going to be hateful stuff, and I don't pay it no mind. But for everybody that, like, genuinely loves these, like those people that we've talked about before, that are going to watch whatever comes on, right? They are going to watch our one Mahogany movie because it's Hallmark and they just love Hallmark. When you take a look back on your Twitter or your Facebook posts, are you going to say, wow, this is the only one we get with these actors? Like, take a look and ask yourself how you feel about this lineup. Like, are you happy with all the actors? Are you happy that there's, did you notice that there was a lack of diversity and inclusion?
That's a
start
good
there.
Yeah,
did
that's
you
a good
notice?
place to start. Yeah. That's a good place to start.
I don't know. I feel like,
and shout out to the people who are doing this work. Like, I know we just dragged a bunch of people, but shout out to the people.
Shout out to the people who are supporting
out here.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Shout out
I know
to our
Angela's
allies.
going to listen to this and she's going to post on Twitter.
Yes, I was just
Angela.
about to say, we're looking at you, Angela. You have our back. Like, most of the time she's tweeted about it before I have, and I love to see it. I love to see it. Before I've even looked at the list, Angela's like, where are all the Black people? I'm like, yes, this is an ally. Yes,
That
I've
is
even
an
laid eyes
ally.
on the list, and Angela has a tweet out. It's on her Instagram, and she's ready. Like, I love her for that. She always has our back, and it's like I would love to see that energy from some more people. You know.
And I mean, your favorite
Exactly.
actor, your favorite when calls the heart actor, whoever. Like, when's the last time you saw them live tweeting for another Hallmark movie, especially if it's a diverse one? Like, do you feel like they're supportive of diversity amongst Hallmark actors? Like, are they reposting when the next Mahogany movie comes out? I mean, I know that's not their job, but just saying, like, they know the business they're in. They have to be privy to the lack of diversity and inclusion, like we as viewers are. Ask yourself, like, why isn't this person, saying anything? Like, check, really pay attention to the people that you're following. I know I have followed some Hallmark actors very closely, and some of them I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to follow you anymore because you aren't supportive of other things. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like we've given some homework assignments today.
Right? And speaking of When Call the Heart, it took them how long for more diversity to even hit their seasons? Let's talk about like
yeah,
you gotta think about that.
And
I
I
mean,
don't
I'll
hear
be the
much
first
about
to
those
admit.
characters.
8 years.
I'll be the first to admit I love me some Good Witch, but there's no brown people up in there.
No, if you go back, you have some more brown people, some more Asian people. Like, I'm down to do
I'm
a rewatch.
rewatching it from the beginning, and I'm like, okay,
Oh
especially in
yeah,
these early seasons.
especially the early seasons.
Ugh. But I love me some Cassie. But ooh.
Yes.
It's so funny. You're just watching, enjoying, and then at a certain point you look around and you're like, wow. Wow. There are
there's
no
no single black girl in the coffee
Yeah.
shop doing homework. Like, where's the black girl with her fro out doing homework?
Where-
Come on.
Where's Bree in the
Where
coffee
am
shop
I?
reading a book?
Yes. With her braids.
With her braids. And the big glasses. Come on.
Oh.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hearty, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Okay, before we leave everyone, we do want to give some previous year's Hallmark movies that did have black leads. We want to give you some recommendations, movies with black leads that we like, that Hallmark's made since 2018. Would you like to share which your recommendations, Jazzman?
Oh, sure. So, just as you guys know, for the Hallmark movies, mind you, they started making black leads since 2018. So there's about 4, 8, 12, 16, so about 19 to 20 movies that were black led. Okay. So the movies that I have actually I own on DVD. I am that girl who's gonna keep buying DVDs. I said what I said.
Yes.
Do it.
Because I'm making a collection for my family. I have a family one day. I want them to have like a black collection, like black movie led. So I'm like,
look, for anybody judging her, I'll just say, like where I live, our power tends to just randomly go out, or not our power, but like the internet. Honey, having a DVD player comes in very handy when your internet is out.
Especially if you have kids. Oh man. Yeah.
Yes.
Thankfully. And on top of that, I came up on a dual, a DVD and a VCR player, and those are hard to find, y'all. Those are like $400 now. You know, girl. So the movie that I have that I love watching during the holiday times. Damn, I have to read this whole. Okay, so I love watching me some A Gingerbread Romance. It has Tia Mowry in it. Yes, we had Tamara Swin in that one. I I love watching Christmas Everlasting. It has Tatiana Ali in it. That's one of my faves. A Christmas duet, y'all. That was my ringtone for 2 years straight during the holiday time. Would it be Christmas? But no, like there's so many. Like I'm gonna post them on my IG, on my Twitter for you guys to watch them. There's a bunch of movies though, but those are like some of my favorite. Especially the first couple of like first 2 years, they were solid movies for me. Like I watched them on repeats. But that's all I got. But watch out for my feed. You guys are gonna know what movies I'm watching.
Okay. Bree, do you have any that you want to recommend?
Okay, so of course, it's no secret if you follow me online. I've posted about this and I've shared it with you ladies, but my favorite all-time Christmas series is the Evergreen series. And in particular, I really loved the final movie. I don't know why we haven't gotten a 5th movie. I guess they're just done with the series. But I really loved the final one where, I mean, it's supposed to be, oh my gosh, Holly Robinson Pete's like wedding, but the so much of the romance was between Rakia and Antonio. And I remember tweeting that movie. And Antonio's so sweet at the time. I think he like chatted with me a little bit about what I was tweeting. I think Rakia is gorgeous. I feel like those two actors in that movie had like at the time some of their best performances. I cried, I laughed. It's just such a heartwarming movie. And of course, you know, like really it was a movie following two characters and they two relationships, and they were both Black couples. And I just love that movie. So yeah, that one, of course, I think The Holiday Stocking. I mean, that was my number one here.
For sure.
I know it wasn't, you know, like a Black love type of romance, but I really do love the Ronnie Lowe one that you mentioned earlier, and I love that movie. He's so gorgeous. Was it Jingle Bell Bride?
Jingle Bell Bride,
yeah. I love that movie. So yeah, those are just a couple of my favorites, but yeah.
Okay. What about you, Dory?
So it's full on Ronnie Rowe fan club over here because I love him, like love him. And
he's adorable.
And I have to recommend Inventing the Christmas Prince.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He was so sweet in that. He was like, you know, the uptight boss, you know. Love him. Love that movie.
Kind of nerdy.
And yeah, kind of nerdy. So good. And I also really liked Christmas in Harmony. Do you guys remember that movie?
I do.
Yes, me too.
I really liked that movie, and I also loved the poster for it. Like, it just was beautiful. That poster was so cool. Yeah. So I would highly recommend those. And then I've got some honorable mentions. These are movies with one Black lead. And it's got to be Jingle Bell Bride, which I've talked about earlier, which we've now mentioned 3 times because it's so cute. But also my absolute fave, one of my favorite Hallmark holiday movies ever, one of my favorite Hallmark movies ever, maybe, is Deliver by Christmas. I live for that movie.
Well, if you're honorable mention, we have to honorable mention the Santa Stakeout too. Because
absolutely.
I mean, that movie was fantastic. And it just goes to show Tamara and Paul Campbell. Is that his name? Paul Campbell.
Yeah,
Paul Walker, R.I.P.
Rest in peace, Paul Walker. I don't know why his face popped into my head. Maybe thinking about
that made me fun on his life.
But like Tamara and Paul Campbell were golden together. Like I still laugh when I think about that movie. And it worked. Like they were cute.
Really
it was believable. The chemistry was great. Like it was
funny.
That's a perfect movie.
Yeah.
That is a classic, like Hallmark classic.
Dory, are you done? I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. My recommendations are A Holiday in Harlem.
Yes.
I really like that one. I really like that one. Inventing the Christmas Prince, Christmas Tree Grows in Colorado, and A
Girl.
Christmas Duet. I really like all of those. And yeah, my honorable mention 100% is The Santa Stakeout. It was my favorite movie of that year. I think it's one of the best movies they've made. Got two great comedic actors doing their thing. It was so funny. I record it this season again and watch it. I really like that one. So yeah, those are some Black-led Christmas recommendations for you guys. You guys can record if you've never seen them, or watch them again. And we will be back to recap the Mahogany Christmas movie in December, so you can look for that then. Happy Christmas movie watching to everybody coming up, because we're Hallmarkies, so Christmas comes in October, which is tomorrow. So then we're a few weeks away from Christmas.
I can't even believe that. I was talking earlier and I was like, oh yeah, we're a couple days away from October. And then I was like, girl, you are literally, October's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. That literally gives us like the 20th is when they start? Like,
Yeah, girl.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
we got like
That's
3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh
That's
my gosh.
You got about 2 if you're going to do a preview. So you got about 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
It
not
gets
sure
earlier and
Hallmark
earlier.
us though, or Mahogany, but can next year, can y'all give us like a fall movie for reals? Like, I know we have To Her With Love, but can we get an authentic like fall movie for Hallmark? If it's there,
Yeah, would be.
If it's there, but at least a regular. I'm just saying, because fall is kind of being pushed into like.
It really is. It's gotten the shaft. Fall Harvest used to be a banger.
It sure
I
was.
used to love me some Fall Harvest.
It ain't bang like it used to be, y'all.
No. Yeah, and I've said this plenty of times. Like, I think, don't come for me, y'all, because I love Christmas movies, but they just get earlier and earlier every year, it feels like. And it's like, for some of us, you want to enjoy being in the fall. Like, I don't actually get a fall, but I do like to be present in this season. And it's like, you're already throwing Christmas down my throat.
They were in the story. Was it 2 weeks ago? They already started putting Christmas stuff out. I'm like, can I enjoy my fall with my apple cider? If it's gonna be
because them pumpkin coffee's been hitting this year. Okay,
I know that's right.
All right. Okay. Let's before we get off, can we all do something that's been like bringing us joy? Can we end up on a joyful thing, or maybe we recommend something or something like that? I don't know.
Of course.
Yeah, I love that.
Or something, something you've been doing. So, I don't know, Anne, you're our fearless leader. You go first.
Oh no! Okay.
You're always doing fun stuff, Anne. I feel like you're always doing
that is not true, but okay, because I've been sick with this sinus infection for like weeks, so it doesn't feel like I've been doing anything fun. But yes, for me, my joy right now is trying all the fall treats. Whether it's buying it at the store or baking at my house, or right now I'm drinking a coffee with pumpkin spice creamer, which is really good. So I love fall because I have major sweet tooth, like gigantic. So I love to try all the different fall stuff. And my dad, he's retired, but he works at Trader Joe's now, and so he likes to send me like all their new fall stuff.
Cute.
I love that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's the sweetest, the nicest. So he likes to send all the fall stuff, and I get to try it all, and it's delicious. But yeah, I love to see each year what the new stuff they come out with and try it. So,
do you have like a life softener, like something that's been making your life easier lately?
I can't really think of one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. You might have to
think
come
about
back
it.
I'll think and see if okay.
Yeah. All right, Jazzy. Something that's been bringing you joy, and then something that's been making life easier for you.
Let's see. Besides fall, I'm like excited. Got like I decorated all that stuff. I'm actually next Saturday. I'm gonna go to my first fall festival in a small town, which is like 11 miles away from me. So I'm super excited. I'm in my Hallmark moment, y'all. I'm excited. That's gonna bring me so much joy. I'm gonna It's gonna be fun. Like, I'm probably positive I'm gonna have my little cute little outfit together. Like, y'all gonna see me.
You'll be living your best Hallmark heroine life.
Girl, I'm trying, y'all. I really am. Like, you never know. Hopefully, maybe I can run into somebody. Maybe a Hallmark moment in fall. Like, I'll write the story. Like, I'll let y'all know. But let's see, what's making it easier? Right now, I am getting back into my meal prepping life because, it's holiday time coming up though, but your girl still gotta look, look cute, look snatched a little bit during these holiday times. So I'm getting back into I don't care if the meal prep my holiday meals. That's still called meal prepping. But I'm getting better, back into my meal prepping, having my little meals and stuff. Not trying to eat out as much, but it's getting easier as the fall goes on. But I'm gonna slowly with Miko, we're gonna make soups. But we're trying to balance this life out. We're trying.
Yeah. Yeah. Dory, what about you?
Oh my gosh, I love these questions. So first things first, I'm just going to say this real quick. I know that it is pumpkin season, but let's not sleep on apples, you guys. I am an apple girl.
Yes.
Come on.
And, this is our time. Apple cider, apple pie. There's a new apple croissant at Starbucks that's amazing. So
I need to
you gotta try it. So apple girlies, this is our season. So one thing that I haven't started this yet, but I'm prepping to do, that I think is going to bring me a lot of joy is there is this woman on Instagram. Her name is Andrea Nelson, and she is a watercolor artist. And I have been obsessed with her account since the beginning of the year. And her whole kind of theme is you don't have to be the best artist or the best drawer to be creative and to paint. And so she does all these like little tutorials that makes watercolor art seem super accessible and that like anyone can do it. Like she's got templates for different designs you can do, and her videos just make it seem like, oh my gosh, I could do this. So I've been obsessed with even just watching her videos, right? Like they just make me so happy. They calm me down. Well, I took the plunge and I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. So I bought a bunch of watercolor supplies, paintbrushes, paints, markers, like all these things that she recommends. She has an online course that she teaches. It's like watercolors for beginners or something. I bought the online course. And so in the next couple weeks, I'm going to try it out and see. And I'm really excited because I feel like the older you get, the harder it is to take on new hobbies,
Yeah.
And it's also been a long time that something's like called to me. You know that I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I was just watching her videos. And I was like watching her videos and I was like, I can do this. I want to do this. This seems fun. And she talks a lot about art and mental health, how a lot of days she'll get online and she'll say, I have been anxious since I woke up this morning. I'm going to do this quick art project to calm my mind because you're just focusing on what's right in front of you.
Yes.
And then she creates something amazing. She takes that, that negativity, that anxiousness, and turns it into a piece of art. And I just think that that is so beautiful and cool. So I will keep everyone posted on my art journey. If I'm any good, I will
so
share.
Excited for you.
Oh, thank you. If I'm any good, I will share some of my art if it's any good. And if you want to follow her, her handle is andrea.nelson.art on Instagram, and see if you'd be into it too. So that's what I've got going on. Things that are making my life easier. I have started meditating again, which always makes my life easier. It makes me show up differently in life. And it's one of those things that it's a practice, right? Like it's hard to, once you've stopped, it's hard to get started again. And even though it's good for you and it, can really help you. But I've started again, and I feel like that is going to be really important going into the crazy holiday season. So that's what I've got going on.
Yeah. For me, I think the joy has been, just like we've talked about a little bit, being like really just present in the season and embracing the season. And in little ways, like we all know I love a good coffee shop visit, or even like stopping through Dunkin'. But yeah, like me and my daughter went a couple weekends ago. One of our coffee shops here has like amazing seasonal coffee. So we've done that. We've done a couple of coffee shop trips to just taste like the pumpkin spice horchata lattes and things. And then I usually stop at Dunkin' on my way to work and I get a coffee, and like they have their pumpkin donuts and they're so good. So I'll get one of those, just like those little treats. Just really bringing me joy, because I'm like, fall is like the shortest season, and it's just, it goes and it comes and goes so fast, and especially as with
It
us being like
does.
covering Christmas, it's like before you know it, fall is over because you've been watching Christmas movies and you're like, no, so
I
trying to really
know.
enjoy it. And then I think what's been making it easy is which it sounds hard when I think about it, but I have been like getting to work early. Like I get there right at 7, and like school doesn't actually start till like 8:40. But I really have to just like, I really love that quiet time before the craziness starts. So I
Yeah.
just give myself that time to like write on the board and make sure I know what I'm doing that day. And I'll like jam out to some music, or I'll put like a calming YouTube video on. And then, yeah, I really appreciate the quiet of the morning. So that's
Just to
been
start
making
your
life
day.
easy.
That's nice.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
start the day. I know it sucks to like get up early, but it's such a peaceful time. So I love it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
We have to
that's
shout you
good.
out, Bree. You
Yes.
have embarked on a new career, and teaching is not the easiest. It's tough. It can be really tough, and you see a lot and hear a lot of hard circumstances, and I just am so impressed by you and in
Yes.
awe of you, and glad that you have chosen this path, or that more likely this path has chosen you, and your kids are lucky to have you. So we are so proud of you.
Thank
We
you,
really
ladies.
are. I can't even imagine the transition, and I'm just so in awe of everything that you're doing. Really, I know that it's that it's a lot, and hopefully, like you said, that's a great just getting there early and being able to like kind of settle into your day, settle into the mindset for your day and everything. I'm sure that really helps.
It really helps. So support teachers, listeners. If your
That's
kid's teacher
right.
reaches out and says, if you'd like to donate extra pencils to the classroom, trust me, it's because they really need it. Otherwise, they're coming out of pocket for it, and they only get paid once a
Yeah.
month. So they probably can't afford it.
Oh
So just support your
gosh.
teachers, okay?
Yes, please, please always support your teachers. If they need volunteers, supplies, anything, please support them. They are working so hard. Okay, so let me do the outro.
Do the outro,
Okay.
Anne.
So Dory, where can people follow you?
You can follow me at All the Feels Pod on Twitter, and Dory Benford on Twitter. I will respond to you on either one.
Okay, and where can people follow you, Jazzman?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, parentheses X, at Shareem16, SHREEM16. You probably see me currently tweeting about Ready to Love.
Ready to Love. You've been on it.
Girl.
Oh, I seen the tweets last night. Yeah.
Girl.
Love it. All right, and Bree, where can people follow you?
I am at Bree Unabashedly on Instagram, co-host or hosting currently by myself, the Categorically Romance podcast. I am here on Hallmarkies, and I'm occasionally on the TikTok Bree Unabashedly. Come say hi.
And I am Anne, and you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at awscott21. And make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcasts all over social media, including TikTok. If you are listening to iTunes, please leave us a rating and review. That really helps us out. And if you're listening on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. You know, the biggest time of year for our podcast is coming up, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss anything. We also have a Patreon group, so make sure you check that out, and you can join for as little as only $2 a month. We also have a merch store with TeePublic, so check that out too. We're going to add some new holiday designs and things this season, so make sure you check out the merch store. And we hope you guys have a happy fall and a Merry Christmas coming very soon to a Hallmark world. And we'll see you later. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.